Welcome to the third video in our four-part series to explain what a case interview is. So in this video, we're going to take what we've done in the prior two videos. So if you haven't seen the prior two videos, take the time to watch them, a couple minutes, to gain context about what you need to do. So the goal of this series, as you remember, is to teach you what a case interview looks like before in future more advanced series, we're actually going to go down and explain each of the parts of the case. But to begin with, we've already understood what the client's trying to do in the opening in the first video. In the second, we structured the problem so that our interviewee, in this case, a former McKinsey engagement manager, is able to structure an approach so that she's able to solve the problem. And now in this third part of the video, she's actually going to go and analyze the problem and work towards a solution with the interviewer, myself, in order to reach our final conclusion for the client in video 4. So let's begin with understanding the analysis and seeing what an analysis portion looks like in an actual case interview. So you'll see some math being asked, you'll see some graphs is being asked to interpret, as well as some brainstorming of ideas in order to get our client to where they need to be. So you'll see all that in the analysis, and we're going to see a little bit of it, each of those, in the case interview example following ahead. I'll see you inside.
Great. So those are all fantastic factors to consider. And after sharing it with the leadership team at Super Soda, they've asked our team to help them understand the beverage market and the consumer preference to gauge the potential success. So our team has went ahead and just gathered the following information on the sports drinks market, which I'll share with you. And what this information shows you is an estimate of the share of electrolyte drinks, as well as the current share of two of our competitors, Cool Sweat, as well as Recovery Plus. So the questions that we have for you is based on the target price as well as the upfront cost, what share of the electrolyte market would we have to capture in order to break even? So here are a couple of additional information for you to consider as you're forming your response. So first, electrolyte would launch in a 16-ounce presentation. So that's about 1/8 of a gallon with the price of $2 to retailers. And in order to launch electrolyte, Super Soda would need to incur a one-time upfront $40 million in fixed costs. So this includes the marketing expenses as well as the increased costs to enhance our production and distribution network. And third, the vice president of operations estimates that each bottle would cost about $1.90 to produce and would be delivered within this new process.
Okay, let me start with how many units we need to break even. If we have a cost to the consumer of $2 per bottle and internal cost of $1.90 a bottle, we're making 10 cents a bottle. 10 cents a bottle relative to the $40 million fixed cost means that we'd actually have to sell 400 million bottles in order to break even. Now, in terms of market share, looking at the graph, the total market for US sports drinks is 8 billion gallons. The electrolyte or sports drink market is 5% of that, so 400 million gallons. Okay, so if we have 400 million gallons, 400 million units in terms of the market, and we have 8 cans per gallon, then we need to sell 50 million gallons in order to break even. That 50 million gallons relative to the 400 million gallon market is 12.5%.
What do you think about that 12.5%?
Well, looking again at the chart you provided on the the electrolyte drinks market, I think it looks doable, but not easy. We can see that Cool Sweat currently has 20% of the market. Recovery Plus, the second biggest competitor in the market, has 10% of the market. And 70% of the market is split between a number of small players. I think the fact that 70% of the market is split between a number of small players means there's an opportunity there. But Cool Sweat and Recovery Plus definitely will be significant competition.
Okay, so it sounds like we'll have to potentially evaluate that. So the executives believe that the company's position as a top 3 beverage company actually gives them a strategic strength towards this goal of 12.5%. However, they have asked the team to outline what would they need to achieve in order to hit that 12.5% share of the market. So what would Super Soda need to do in order to gain the required market share for electrolyte to be successful following its launch? Rebecca, those were some great ideas that you came up with. In fact, to help Super Soda determine how to best launch the new electrolyte product, our team has conducted a consumer research study to enhance what we talked about earlier. So the following information shows results from that study. What can you conclude from this regarding how we should advise our client to launch the electrolyte product?
Okay, this is some interesting information to work with. So in your first graph, I see that there are 3 different segments to the sports drink market: the leisure drink segment, the health and natural drink segment, and the energy replenishing drink segment. We can see from the chart that Cool Sweat already has a substantial portion of the leisure drink segment of the market. They're at 50% right now. So it would be a little bit tough to break into that part of the market. Similarly, Recovery Plus has 70% of the energy replenishing drink portion of the market. However, the healthy natural drink segment of the market looks a bit more open. 70% of that portion of the market is being fulfilled by, quote unquote, other competitors, so smaller firms. I think there's a real opportunity to break into that part of the market, and that would be the best place to target electrolyte, targeted as a healthy natural drink. In terms of sales channels, this is interesting that the sales channel for the sports drink market looks like it's different than the other drinks that Super Soda is selling right now. So where supermarkets represent 60% of the channel for other beverages, for sports drinks, they're only 30% of the market. Now, supermarkets and convenience stores are still a pretty large percentage of the market. Together, they add up to 60%. So I certainly would want to make sure that electrolyte was strong in those portions of the market. But I'm interested in the fact that sports drinks, that 30% of sports drinks that are sold in channels that are categorized as other. And I'm wondering what that might be. Might it be vending machines? Might it be small stores at, parts and sports arenas, things like that? I think we need to understand the other part of the market better and be able to make sure that we can get our product, in terms of distribution, get the product to that market and get shelf space in that market. Potentially, that could even be an area where we could have a competitive advantage if we become better at addressing that distribution channel than our competition is.
No, those are some fantastic insights on it. So let's say that the vice president of marketing, our client, wants an update on the work that we've done so far. So what would you tell her?
So you just watched Rebecca, a former McKinsey manager, walk through the process of being able to solve the analysis of the case. So she was tested both as from me, the interviewer, both quantitatively on her math in both the market share, market size question, as well as the break-even analysis, and then qualitatively on her graph, as well as her brainstorming abilities. So in this case, you guys see a little bit of editing from this case that McKinsey has on their website. In future videos, we're going to go deeper into the math, we're going to go deeper into the market sizing, we're going to go deeper into the graph reading, we're going to go deeper into brainstorming. So you are covered on all of that. But for now, I just wanted to get you a little overview of what you can expect in the case. Because some cases you're going to have more math, some cases you're going to have less math and more graphs, but you're going to be prepared for that. But now you've seen an example of a case that has a little bit of everything. And we're going to conclude in the fourth video where we're going to have Rebecca actually go through and present her findings to a client. So you're actually going to see a former McKinsey manager actually deliver the conclusion of this example case that McKinsey provides in the real life example of how it was done with the client. Right. I'm excited to wrap up the series and show you how all the work that we've done in the first 3 videos comes together in the final one. I'll see you in the final video.